I'm going to recognize the ranking member to make an opening statement, and I'll respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've had some success on this committee reporting out bills regarding social media abuse. To the members of the committee on both sides, you've been champions of trying to fix a problem that plagues every family in this country, and we got them through the floor. Now we got a problem in the House. Our House colleagues are saying the Kids Online Safety Act and the other bill we passed needs major significant changes. Fine. Tell us what they are. Just don't stop the process of trying to deal with this abuse. Senator Blackburn, Blumenthal, everybody who's been involved in writing this stuff, well done. But the big prize still remains, and that's Section 230. So we live in a time of where these devices become addictive. I find myself looking at the next thing to pop up. Our children are being put at risk. There are people preying on them through these devices. Drugs are being sold. There's all kind of sexual predators out there preying on young people, particularly young girls. And there's not much a family can do. If you're being bullied and your child's being bullied on these websites, you can go tell the owner and they will listen. But if they do nothing to correct the problem or follow their own written policies, you can't sue because of Section 230. I think it's time now for the Congress to take away Section 230 protections for an industry that has made it. If you're worried about the internet surviving, it has survived. These companies are the largest advertisers in the history of mankind. They have absolutely no legal accountability to the people that are abused by their product. It's the only product I know of in America that you have no recourse if you're injured by it. So I want to compliment the committee and Senator Schumer and Senator McConnell. I want to challenge the House, but the big prize, Mr. Chairman, is to replace Section 230. It is long past time to give the American people access to the courtroom when they're injured by social media outlets.
Senator Graham, I couldn't agree with you more. This has really reached a point where we're finally opening the subject for conversation and debate and votes, but we're a long way from where we need to be. I want to salute the leadership of Senator Blackburn, Senator Blumenthal, Senator Markey, and other senators who've been part of this effort so far. They've done a great job, but this is just opening the door. Now we've got to give the kind of recourse to people across America who are being victimized to persuade the social platforms that they can't continue this way. 230 might have made sense long ago. It makes no sense now, and I share your feelings on that. Senator Whitehouse?
Just to echo that very point, Chairman Durbin, thank you, and thank you to our ranking member.
Senator Klobuchar?
As Senator Graham knows, I've long agreed with him on this, and the time has come. And even some of the exemptions that are in some of your bills, I think would be very helpful right now. And I'm very glad we passed this bill, but I think we all know it's not going to solve when there's not any liability for anything that happens. Thanks.
And just for the record, to close this subject, these 5 bills that we passed unanimously. That is a political miracle in this committee that anything would pass unanimously. But I think it's
probably in the Bible as a sign of the end times, but yeah.
I hope not. But it does indicate the timeliness of this subject.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just add a brief word of thanks to you, Mr. Chairman, and the ranking member for your leadership, and of course to my partner in the effort on Kids Online Safety Act, Senator Blackburn. I think our success here shows, number one, this issue is completely bipartisan, and the work that Senator Blackburn and I have done with your help has brought us this far. We do need to get this bill through the House, but it also shows we can stand up to these big tech companies. We can say to social media, we're not relying on you anymore. We're not trusting you. We do need to move on Section 230 and some of the other bills that you, Mr. Chairman, and Senator Klobuchar and others on this committee and the ranking member have advanced. This is just a first step. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We're considering 7 judicial nominees today. I know this is the last day before recess, and it's going to be busy. I'll turn to Ranking Member Graham if he wants to make any further opening remarks. I'm ready. Ready? We will now turn to the votes. First is Carla Campbell, nominated to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. Does anyone seek recognition on this nomination?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I know that you all are not surprised that I am asking to speak on this nominee. And I'm disappointed that once again, I am having to speak on a nominee. This is the 4th time that the White House has disregarded Senator Hagerty and I in this process. And I know, Mr. Chairman, they tell you one thing, but the actions they have had with us are something completely different. And what they've done should concern every single member of this committee, because these nominees who are not qualified to sit on the federal bench, they are not going to age well. Your vote for them will not age well. The decisions that they make are probably going to be things that you will be asked about in the future, because the votes that you're taking for these federal judges that have lifetime appointments, this is a legacy vote for you. And every one of you should be thinking about this. I'm not going to take up the committee's time rehashing this, but I will remind you, this nominee, Carla Campbell, came to us because of a deal the White House cut with Judge Straunch. It was a deal they cut. That is wrong. Her performance at her nominations hearing was one of the worst that we have seen. Over the course of the hearing, she repeatedly lied to members of this committee and refused to answer any basic questions. Now, here is one example of where she got tripped up. She served as a longtime legal advisor for Workers' Dignity. That is a radical activist group that supports, and I want you to hear this, they support abolishing the police. They support abolishing the military and law enforcement. They've accused Israel of engaging in ethnic cleansing, and she failed to disclose her affiliation with this group to the committee. When we found out about it anyway and asked Ms. Campbell for details on her work for this activist group, she lied to Senator Grassley and denied the affiliation, and then she got pressed on it. And what did Senator Grassley do, sitting right there in that seat? He looked at her and said, "Did you lie to me?" Because she contradicted herself. I have never seen a nominee evade questions and just flat out lie the way she did. I think it is so disrespectful of members of this committee. Mr. Chairman, I think it is disrespectful of you as the chair of the committee. Her dishonesty was not my only concern. We also know that she donated $1,500, more money than she had ever given to any political candidate, to Odessa Kelly. Now, Odessa Kelly was a former congressional candidate in Tennessee who publicly accused 5 members of this committee of being Satanist and racist. The candidate tweeted, and I will quote this for everyone. I want you to hear this. Here was Odessa Kelly's tweet. "Blackburn, Cruz, Cotton, Graham, Hawley are obviously aligned with the devil. The hate is real. The racism is apparent. The disrespect is on another level," end quote. Just 4 days after the candidate made that inflammatory statement, Ms. Campbell cut a $1,500 check to that candidate. It's hard to see her donation is anything other than an endorsement of the opinions and statements of that candidate. And this candidate didn't just attack committee Republicans. She also attacked Senators Manchin and Sinema by name. She also attacked 50 other U.S. senators, calling them, and again I quote, Jim Crow senators who don't give a damn about our voting rights. These are white nationalists, period, end quote. So, Ms. Campbell put her full financial support behind an individual who called 52 senators, including Senators Manchin and Sinema, white nationalists. This donation also shows a profound lack of judgment by Ms. Campbell that makes her entirely unsuited to be a federal judge. I know we don't have a blue slip for the circuit court. I'm not asking for veto power or to handpick a candidate. Senator Hagerty is not asking for that either. What we have asked for is the basic courtesy of providing that advice and consent, of working with the White House. We have brought forward individuals who would be wonderful representatives on the bench. They would be good judges, and they are Democrats. And that is fine, Mr. Chairman. But what we have to do is realize the White House now, for the fourth time, they're picking someone who has never been a judge. They haven't been a city judge. They haven't been a county judge. They haven't been a state judge. They have never been a judge. And they are going to the appellate court. This is something that, as Senator Tillis said the other day, I want all of you to remember this moment. I want you to remember this, because we know the shoe is going to be on the other foot soon enough. We know that what we have before us today is another individual who is not qualified to take a seat on the appellate court. I know, Mr. Chairman, the White House has told you differently. I know that if you knew the extent to which Senator Hagerty and I had tried to work with them, tried to work through this process, you probably would have a little bit of empathy for where we sit. I'm asking everyone today to oppose this nominee.
Senator, when the shoe was on the other foot, your party eliminated the blue slip on circuit court nominees. That's a fact. This is one of the results of it, and I'm sorry that you feel that you were mistreated in this context. Does anyone else?
Not mistreating me, Mr. Chairman. It is mistreating the people of Tennessee. It is mistreating people that are qualified to take this seat on the bench, and the White House will not even interview them. And they are people that are Democrats. It is a lack of respect for the process. It is a lack of respect for the people of Tennessee. And Mr. Chairman, I have heard you say that you were able to work with the previous administration to get some people that you could agree on. We are asking for that same courtesy. The people in Tennessee are asking for that same courtesy.
Anyone else seek recognition? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Whitehouse.
Aye.
Ms. Klobuchar. Aye. Mr. Coons. Mr. Blumenthal.
Nomination be favorably reported to the floor. Next is Judge Julia Lopez, nominated to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit. Does anyone seek recognition on this nomination? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Whitehouse.
Aye.
Ms. Klobuchar. Aye. Mr. Coons. Aye. Mr. Blumenthal. Aye. Ms. Verono. Aye. Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Padilla. Aye. Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Welch. Aye. Ms. Butler. Mr. Graham.
No.
Mr. Grassley.
No.
Mr. Cornyn.
No by proxy.
Mr. Lee.
No by proxy.
Mr. Cruz.
No by proxy.
Mr. Hawley.
No by proxy.
Mr. Cotton.
No by proxy.
Mr. Kennedy.
No by proxy.
Mr. Tillis.
No by proxy.
Mrs. Blackburn.
No by proxy.
Chair Durbin.
Aye.
Chair Durbin, on this vote, the ayes are 11, the nays are 10.
Nomination will be favorably reported to the floor. Next is Mary Kathleen Costello, nominated to the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District. Does anyone seek recognition? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Whitehouse.
Aye.
Ms. Klobuchar.
Aye.
Mr. Coons.
Aye.
Mr. Blumenthal.
Aye.
Ms. Verono. Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Padilla.
Aye.
Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Welch. Ms. Butler. Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Grassley.
No by proxy.
Mr. Cornyn.
No by proxy.
Mr. Lee.
No by proxy.
Mr. Cruz.
No by proxy.
Mr. Hawley.
No by proxy.
Mr. Cotton.
No by proxy.
Mr. Kennedy.
No by proxy.
Mr. Tillis.
Aye by proxy.
Mrs. Blackburn.
No by proxy.
Chair Durbin.
Aye.
Chair Durbin, on this vote, the ayes are 13, the nays are 8.
The nomination will be favorably reported to the floor. And next is Catherine Henry, nominated to the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania.
quorum has to be in the room at once. Yes.
I would just, for the sake of members and those who are in attendance here, we're trying to find a way to establish the necessary quorum for a roll call vote. And our goal now is to, during the first roll call on the floor, which is scheduled for 11:30, to convene in the president's room at 11:45. We need all members present, physically present at 11:45. Is there a conflict that any of you note? In the middle of the vote, so they have to be there. You're all headed to the floor for a vote at or about that time. And the same thing's true on the Republican side. So with that, the committee will stand in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Will there be donuts?
Senator Whitehouse asked about the possibility of donuts. Perhaps that will attract some of the members. Committee stands in recess.